Welcome, everybody, to the Guys Talking About Stuff Draft, the films of 2018. Now, I just wanted to be known that I did not let my opinion of what other sites and other people rated these movies at, I did not let them impact my judgment and how I'm selecting these. I gave these movies scores, and I'm going to be taking them in a, if I can watch any of these right now, if I can watch a movie, where am I taking them? What's my order look like? How am I taking these guys? So, without further ado, the 2018 draft is now open. So now, if you guys don't watch any sports or sports drafts, you wouldn't know. But typically, a draft, all the teams are set there and they select and everything. But since this is just myself attacking this, I'm going to be taking them in the order I want to be pulling them and how I felt about them. I don't want it for you to think that necessarily I'm saying a film's better than another one just because I'm taking it higher. I'm just saying that's the one I'd rather watch. But in all honesty, if I was to grade them on like a critical analysis of things, my list might look a little differently. But this is purely off of how I feel about them, the entertainment value, the inspiration I feel while watching it, and all those kind of different aspects and the things that go through me when I'm watching a different movie. So, all right, here's the draft. Here we go. Are you ready for it? Number 1, 2018. What film am I going with? Out of every film that came out in 2018, number 1, I'm going with Panos Cosmatos' Mandy. Mandy was incredible. I just saw it today, and, sometimes you just know. You just know that it's like, well, shit. I had the same number 1. I had the same number 1 for a whole year, over a year. And now it comes time to actually do my top films, and the day I do my list, I caught one more movie, and and it shoots all the way to the top. Best for last, man. Best for last. But Mandy is my number 1 of 2018. I thought it was incredible. I really love everything about it. I had so much fun. I was entertained. I was taken to crazy places in my head, man. I like this. This movie cannot be put into words, which I could say the same thing about the next couple here. So, Mandy's first, second overall, with the second overall selection of the 2018 film draft. We're going to go with Suspiria. Suspiria was incredible. I'm going to say that about a lot of movies. But, number 2, I'm going with Suspiria. Tom York's score is so incredible, and I didn't mention for Mandy, I'm so sorry, but Johan Johansson, he passed away, but his soundtrack for Mandy is probably top of the year. I'm gonna do top soundtracks of the year, so I'm gonna really have to think about that, but I'm gonna wait and do that another day. But number 1, Mandy. Number 2, Suspiria. Number 3, I'm going to go with the film I had at number 1 for so long, and I don't know. It's just when I really boiled down the nitty-gritty things, I was just able to edge it out. Both of 1 through 3 is really a 1A, 1B, 1C kind of situation, but all 3 of these films are incredible. Annihilation. This movie left me in the theater silent, just thinking about the film, what it means, what the different aspects of the film we're getting at, and what the whole point of the movie is. And it was such an incredible experience. It's so hard to put into words how I really felt about it. And I really love everything about the movie. The soundtrack's incredible. I mean, I know that's a common theme here, but Annihilation was such a make-you-think sci-fi film in an era where we don't get those anymore. We really get a lot of these, spoon-fed exposition dump kind of films, and I kind of hate that. It only really works with Lord of the Rings because the opening sequences are really freaking cool. But exposition dumps, man. Everybody tries that. Like, well, Lord of the Rings did it, we could do it. And I hate it. I really hate when a movie's just like, here's everything you need to know. Now, here you go. Unless it's done in an interesting and cool way. For the most part, it's like, show me these characters. Show me them doing stuff. And I'm going to learn through their actions rather than you telling me, because show don't tell is like the rule in filmmaking, and so many films break it. And I know there's probably some people listening who like that stuff, and I'm not saying you can't like exposition dumps and exposition, but I know for me it's one of the most like unforgivable sins, and a movie like Annihilation is so anti that I love it. It's so much of a sense built up of, what is this? Where are we going? What are we? What is destruction? I mean, it's some really crazy stuff with that. So that is my number 3. Coming in at number 4 in the draft, we're going to go with First Man, which is Damien Chazelle's third feature after Whiplash and not Moonlight. Oh my gosh. Now I'm doing it too. It's La La Land. I can't believe I did that. Oh, Damien Chazelle is gonna hate me. I even put Moonlight in here when there's no reason for me to mention Moonlight. I thought La La Land was incredible. I thought Whiplash was incredible, and I think Damien Chazelle's a special talent. He's going to keep making great films, and I'm really excited about that. Every time I'm going to hear about a new one of his films coming out, I'm going to get excited. The science scenes in this film, like something like the really heavily special effects scenes, are pretty insane. In a good way. There's a specific scene involving a rotating ship that I thought was incredible. There's so many great scenes in this movie that just build tension and just kind of make you feel like you have no idea how it's going to go, even though you know the fucking story. If a movie about an event that's so famous that you know about can keep you on the edge of your seat, it's good. So First Man's coming in 4th here. 5th overall, a film that I thought was going to win Best Picture, but didn't, but should have maybe. I don't know. The Favorite. I really want to see this movie again. I remember sitting there in the theater after this one ended and concluded. I'm like, what's that last scene mean? And on the way home, I kind of I was driving, and I kind of thought about it a little bit. And I kind of started getting some understanding on it. And it's so awesome when you kind of don't understand 100% what the ending is saying as it's happening, and you're just kind of taking it in. And then you're like, oh my, wow. And then you kind of connect all the dots from the movie, and then it just makes more and more sense. And then there's kind of a revelation, and that's a Yorgos Lanthimos staple, I guess. He's another great director that's one to watch. Honestly, every director in my top 5 is incredible. Panos Cosmatos did an amazing job with Mandy. Luca Guadagnino with Suspiria, Alex Garland with Annihilation, Damien Chazelle with First Man, and now Yorgos Lanthimos with The Favorite. So all these movies have in common, they have an incredible direction, an incredible sense of being so original, being so their own films, incredible scores, and they're all incredibly different. We have I can't put any sort of label on Mandy other than like revenge, Mad Max kind of thing, but nothing like that. You know, these movies at my top 5, I mean, I really could rearrange this, and if I could watch all these movies right now, right in a row, I might come out with a totally different answer. So, it's really tough. Heck, even the next 5 films here, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to draft these. So number 6, I'm going to go with You Were Never Really Here. Another incredibly well-directed and amazing score film. This movie really blew me away. I only saw it a couple days ago here, and there's some scenes dealing with mental illness that are things that I've kind of dealt with, and it's like, wow, watching somebody deal with something, much more intense than myself, it gives me a little bit of kind of, I don't want to say comfort because it sounds terrible saying I'm comfortable because somebody has it harder than me, but thankful for what I have. And sometimes when you're dealing with mental illness, you think, oh, the world's against you and everything's terrible and there's no way out. Nobody understands. And there's some scenes in this movie that just absolutely capture that. The performances are incredible. The soundtrack, Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead. So Tom York and Johnny Greenwood, you both knocked it out of the park this year with soundtrack work. But, I mean, when you're part of what, in my opinion, the best band around, it's not too much of a shock. You Were Never Really Here was a really amazing movie. And another one where it's like, it could easily be my number 1. It's so hard to do this. Like, right now, I could tell you how I feel about these movies, and then a month from now, my list is rearranged. I do kind of feel like my top 10's my top 10, and then there's like a line in the dirt, and then it's the next group. But all these films are just so amazing that we're talking such nitpicky stuff to separate them. So You Were Never Really Here was so great, and that's my number 6. Number 7, documentary. I remember hearing about this film and going, I need to see this, and then I waited way too long to see it. Won't You Be My Neighbor? Wow. What an amazing documentary. I cried throughout the whole thing, man. Like, you just see Mr. Rogers and the tears just flew out of me. It's like, oh my God, my childhood. Such an amazing man. You go on this journey really with understanding who Mr. Rogers was, and Fred Rogers was a saint. Oh, just the sweetest man. And you get all these like controversies and stuff. It's such an interesting documentary, and it's like, Mr. Rogers controversy, really? And it's like, yeah, whole lot of stuff with it. I mean, you see how he fought. He didn't. Mr. Rogers fighting. Oh my gosh! But he kind of went into the government saying, we need money for PBS, and they really didn't want to give it. And he was able to convince them not only to give them the money that because they were making a cut, they were going to cut it in half the budget, and he not only got them to give them the budget that they had, but they actually increased the budget. So it's really funny that Mr. Rogers was able to just do so much. And I don't mean it was funny that happened. I meant that, like, you think of Fred Rogers as this just nice guy on television when you're a kid, and you watch this documentary, and the whole time you're just thinking about how incredible this person was and how selfless he was. And there's so many films out there about the worst kinds of people, and in some ways, there's a little bit of glorification going on there, and this film is the kind of film that you need to see. A film that gives you hope about doing the right thing and being a good person. And somebody finding the strength to be the person they always knew they could be. And I think that message is so incredible and easily could have been my number one film with how well it impacted me. I think all these films in my top 10 are incredible, and I definitely check all these films out. So, Won't You Be My Neighbor at number 7. Definitely check this one out. Number 8 is a film that when I saw the trailer, I knew I had to see this film, and I knew I was going to love it. It was directed by the same person who had done a film called A Ghost Story, and when I saw that in theaters with my friend Wolfgang, we came out of that, we were like, whoa. It really hit us. It was really incredible. A really great film. And he followed it up with another damn good one, The Old Man and the Gun. I love this. It's Robert Redford's last film, and that's kind of sad to think about because Robert Redford was such an amazing actor, and it's sad to see him retire. But hey, he's been doing it for quite a while, and from everything from The Sting to The Natural, I'm a huge fan of his work, and he was amazing in this film. The folk kind of backdrop soundtrack with this film fits so perfectly, and it just has this down-home quality. And although this man is robbing banks, you're along the ride, and you kind of hear some of his reasoning and stuff, and sometimes it's like, wow, maybe I'm doing things wrong. Maybe I should just rob some banks. And but then you see the ramifications of that. But Old Man and the Gun, great film. Definitely check it out. Yeah, got really nothing left to say more than that. Number 9's a film I saw more recently. I saw this a couple days ago, and I'm very glad I got to catch it. It's on Amazon. Don't miss this one. You Were Never Really Here is also on Amazon Prime. So if you guys got Amazon Prime, go on Amazon Prime right now and just nail out all these films I'm talking about. I think Annihilation's on there too, if I'm correct. I bought the 4K, so I'm good. But Annihilation, and I think Suspiria is probably coming eventually because I think it was an Amazon Pictures film. But I bought it, obviously, because I thought it was amazing. But anyway, move forward. Leave No Trace. Leave No Trace. This was such an amazing film. It actually has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a very rare feat. But I really can't pick a flaw with this film. I mean, really, it's amazing. It's such a film that's going to evoke a lot of different emotions in you. It's going to, you're going to be sad. You're going to be happy. You're going to have hope. You're going to have doubt. You're going to not know where it's going to go. And I think that's one of the best tests of a film is, is it following the 2-step program? Is it going through every single beat, that's coming, and everything doesn't surprise you? Or do you want a film that's going to take you and twist you and turn you and not give you the ending you're expecting? And I know I'm kind of on the creative side of things. At least I hope so. No. And when a film's really creative like this one and really kind of twists and turns in kind of an interesting way, it's going to keep you on board. And you keep learning things about the different characters in this film as they go on. And it's very tragic with a lot of things that happen. And I really don't want to ruin too much, especially with this top 25 thing, especially since I have a review for this movie coming out too. So Leave No Trace, amazing movie, my number 9. Number 10 in the draft, I'm going to go with Black Klansman. Black Klansman's a movie that as soon as it got released, I had to get the 4K. I got a 4K TV. It's not like Black Klansman, that's the film to get a 4K TV for. No. No. It's it has a very 70s style film look, which I think is fantastic. And I think it's one of those things where, interestingly enough, I actually think I prefer to watch this on the Blu-ray, on my Blu-ray TV. And I know that sounds crazy, but you really get the film look watching a Blu-ray on a Blu-ray TV, whereas a 4K, you get it. 4K has every film pretty much looks the same in 4K, which is not me really having a dig on the format, but when you look at it, 4K movies typically look very similar to each other. This is a very good film. Definitely one to check out. Spike Lee deserved the Oscar for this, and I'm glad he finally got one. This is a funny film, but it's also a serious film, so definitely one to check out. Definitely one deserving of the top 10. So I'm just going to recap the top 10 for you guys. So it went Mandy, Suspiria, Annihilation, First Man, The Favorite, You Were Never Really Here, Won't You Be My Neighbor, The Old Man, The Gun, Leave No Trace, and Black Klansman. That's my top 10. From now on, I'm just going to read the films to you guys, and I'm just going to kind of go through and give you the next set here. So at number 11, going to go with Isle of Dogs, which was a fantastic film from Wes Anderson. Number 12, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, another fantastic animated feature. Number 13, A Star's Born, an amazing story that's been told so many times, so clearly people love this one. It's a great film, and glad to see it win some Oscars. Number 14, Green Book, the best picture of the year, or, in my opinion, the 14th best picture of the film. But another one where Viggo Mortensen was amazing in this film, and I really had a lot of fun with Green Book. It's a really fun adventure. It's a funny film, but it's also serious, and it kind of deals with kind of race relations, and which is obviously an important topic, but also a very topical topic. So, number 14, Green Book. Number 15, a film that I think a lot of people are going to have higher on their lists, and I clearly don't have a problem with this film, but maybe would get called out for it. Roma. I thought the look of this film's great. It's shot incredibly. There's some sequences that really held me, really gripped my seat, really was invested. And then there's some stretches in this film where kind of nothing happens, or nothing like of note. But that's kind of how life is, and that's kind of what this film's trying to jab at. And there's a lot of things in this film where there's things that go unnoticed, and there's no praise for unnoticed things, and that's unfortunate. But Roma really was an incredible film. It's my number 15, so I don't think that's an insult, but I know a lot of people have it top 5. So Roma's my number 15. Number 16, this is when the controversy really kicks in, though, because I feel like some people are going to come after me when I say this. But I really thought long and hard about it. And if I'm to pick a movie to watch from last year that I want to watch, number 16 is going to be Halloween. I know. I saw a lot of people who didn't like this, and there's a lot of people who loved this one. I'm not really mixed on this film at all. I think I felt like I was for a while, but that was because I was trying to keep other people's opinions in mind. I loved this the first time I saw this. I had such a blast with it. The soundtrack was absolutely amazing. John Carpenter returns to Halloween to bring a brand new soundtrack that him, his son, and Ray... I always forget his name, but it's Ray Davies' son from the Kinks. They just did an amazing job. They did incredible work on this film, and their soundtrack was captivating. I mean, it could have been for a school play, and I still would have said, wow, that soundtrack was fucking amazing. This is one of those things that I understand. There's some people who are like, well, it's a little cheesy in spots. It's a slasher movie, okay? Like, what were you expecting? Fucking Shakespeare? If you want to watch Othello, you could buy the Blu-ray for Othello and watch Orson Welles' Othello. It's incredible. Go out and do it. But Halloween, I just had a lot of fun at this film. I saw it twice in the theater in the big movie theater, Big D at the AMC, and I heard the soundtrack. I bought the 4K. I watched that up. I just enjoy this, and I'm going to watch this one a lot. I really don't think it's that outlandish to put this film here, and I really loved a lot about it. So, number 16, Halloween. Number 17, more controversy, Ready Player One. Which I never thought this would be controversial, because I came out of that movie and I was like, wow, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Spielberg, the whole 9 yards, had so much fun. The family really loved it. We talked about it. We had so much fun. I was worried about it from one trailer. I'm like, oh, it's going to be so much CGI, and it's about a video game. Go ahead and have CGI, I can understand some people calling it a CGI fest, but I've complained about movies being CGI fests, but that's because it's unbelievable CGI fest. This is in a virtual world. These are virtual created characters. I thought the design was amazing. They did a lot of great work around really everything here. I had a blast with this. I had fun. So much fun with Ready Player One. The soundtrack, which I loved it. I mean, yes, it's 80s. It's going to be very 80s, but that's not a bad thing. It's its own film in that sense that yes, I've had people critique it and call it what do they say? It's a nostalgic film. It's only nostalgia, nothing else there. But, people shit on that all the time, and sometimes it's just nice to go back and revisit something, And sometimes a film revisiting these things, it does them in interesting ways. It's not leveraging it. It's not taking advantage of people. It's people going, wow, I'm going to see Chucky and a Iron Giant and Godzilla and the DeLorean all in the same film? No way. There's no way that's possible. And and it is. It happened. It's Ready Player One. And honestly, I didn't think it'd be controversial to do this, but I told somebody, I was like, oh yeah, I really loved Ready Player One, and they kind of made me feel bad for liking it. And you know what? Fuck them. If you got an opinion, stick with it. Don't let somebody make you like a movie less than you do just because some guy tells you, in their opinion, it's a dumb movie or something. We're all going to disagree on stuff. Might as well stick to how you feel. Now, there is a difference between that and growing up and learning that movies you liked as a kid sucked, getting older and realizing that the Friday the 13th series didn't exactly have the most sound story and things, but those movies never went for that. And I hate to bring just right out of nowhere, everybody wants another Friday the 13th movie. It's been 10 years. Oh, all the Friday the 13th fans got up and like, yes, we need more. But no, that's the thing about film, is that a lot of times different movies go for different things, different aspects, different vibes, and it's going to set with different people different ways. We're not all going to have the same top 25, and I think that's awesome that we don't. And I think it's awesome that we get really passionate about these films. We talk about them, and we really let others know how we feel and how much we love these movies. And, I like good movies, bad movies, and everything in between. I could throw Con Air on every day for a month and I'd be a happy person. But, I'm not going to sit here and go, Con Air is better than Citizen Kane, because it's not. And I know it's not. I know it's not a better made film. But there's some times where something's just fun. And Ready Player One, I had more fun with than the next films here. And that's just who I am, how I am, and what I like about movies. So that's my number 17. Number 18, I'm going to go with Mission Impossible Fallout. I know. I put Mission Impossible Fallout below Halloween 2018 and Ready Player One, which from a technical aspect, yes, I know that's insanity. Don't get me wrong. I obviously had a blast with Mission Impossible Fallout. I thought this film was incredible, and I thought a lot of the action stuff's really great and really incredible and really amazing. And I think there's a lot to like here. And I feel like, if I did a double feature of all three, I'd be a very happy person. I think these movies are all great. Every movie that made my top 25, I really freaking loved. Like, there's not a movie in my top 25 that I was like, I just gotta fit something in here. Here you go. Here you go. Blah. No. I saw 40 films, and I'm giving you the top 25. But I try to go really and only see movies that I know I'm going to like or that I think I'm going to like. I had a few that I did watch that I was just kind of about. Obviously, 15 movies didn't make it, I could have always made it a top 30 or top 40, but top 25 sounded about right. There is a film that's not going to make it, I think. Yeah, because this draft's live, man. We don't know where this is going. Where's it going to go? Who knows? Number 19. Yeah, let's just move this thing forward. Number 19, I'm going to go with Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I really, really, really dug this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I think there's some incredible sequences in this film, and I have no problems with it. I really don't have any problem with Bohemian Rhapsody. The only reason why I have it kind of this low is just because, I just chose those other films over it. It's not like it's not me disliking Bohemian Rhapsody. It's just these other movies I have something more passionate in me about. I liked them a little bit more. You could really flip these last couple here. And at one point I did have it Mission Impossible Fallout, Rhapsody. One point I had it Rhapsody, Fallout. But, Bohemian Rhapsody was an incredible experience just for Rami Malek's performance alone. But the work in here is great. The music's great. I really liked how they did the Live Aid sequence and how it's very close to, if you actually watch their Live Aid performance, you can catch that on YouTube. I'm a big Queen fan, so I really like a lot of their music. The song itself, Bohemian Rhapsody, is a masterpiece, and it's really hard to top that track, in my opinion. I think there's songs on its level, and I think for me, I kind of have a few. I have, in my mind, there's a 10-song selection of, those are, the songs from, a musician standpoint of, trying to compare to them because of how well they're made. They're on, the level of a classical piece, which is what their goal was on Night at the Opera, which is cool to kind of see how things go in the movie. If anything, what's keeping it from being a little higher is some of the inaccuracies in the film. Kind of the way they went about things and told it in a way that it didn't really happen. That's not a negative against the movie. It's just I kind of know how it happened. And then watching the movie happen, it's it didn't happen that way. No, I don't want to ruin anything about the movie, so just go out and check it out. Number 19 is not an insult to this film. I definitely say go out and check this one out. I'm going to be buying this one and going to be checking this one out for years to come, so Bohemian Rhapsody, no offense, don't take any. Number 19 is a great spot. So, 19 overall, we're going Bohemian Rhapsody. Number 20 is a film that I watched over the course of several days. And that's not anything against this film. It's just kind of the way that you can watch this film, and I think that's an incredible thing. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I had a blast with this one. It's a Coen Brothers film, which that's always a good thing. I feel this one has probably a really good chance of moving up this list in the future for the pure sake of the fact that I did watch this over 3 different days, watching them in chunks of the segments, so I didn't get the full cohesive sense. And I know I shouldn't be admitting this because then it's like, oh my God, you're an idiot. You didn't do your job. You're a film reviewer and you watched it over 3 days. What an asshole. It's just the way things went. I had stuff come up, and that's the way I took care of things. But Ballad of Buster Scruggs is a really great film that has some segments that I absolutely thought were incredible, and it had some segments that I was like, oh, those are good. And I think that's the only reason keeping it from being higher is because I didn't absolutely love every segment. But this is definitely one to check out if you're a fan of Westerns. I love Westerns, so of course I'm geared toward this. But the Coen Brothers are amazing when it comes to the Old West, and they always put a lot of heart and care in their films, and it's really there on this one. So Ballad of Buster Scruggs, definitely one to check out. That's on Netflix, so if you got Netflix, you don't even have to think about this one. Just go and watch it. And if you don't like the first couple segments, turn it off. And you've caught those stories. I don't think there's anything to lose with that, and I think that's one of the cool things about that film. All right. Now we're down to the last 5. It's like, who's going to make it? Because when you see 40 movies, some of them aren't going to make it, and I'm going to have some unhappy listeners here. So, number 21, Death of Stalin. I caught this film on the later side, kind of recent, probably a month ago, I'm thinking. But I've been really working on a lot of stuff, so I've lost track of time, and I really don't know what year this is. I'm doing a best of 2018 in March, so of course I'm crazy. But Death of Stalin, this movie is hilarious. I laughed my ass off during this. Honestly, this is one of those movies you could throw on and know that it's very outrageous. Don't go into this expecting, I want to know the true story of what happened with Stalin. It's this is the true story. But this isn't one of those, based on a true story. This summer, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, the movie event of the summer. No, Death of Stalin. It's a funny movie. It presents things in a funny way, and it's kind of funny when you get to the end of the movie. It's yep, based on a true story, and then they're yep, no, this was true. This is how it happened. And you look it up. It's oh my God, there's no way, and it did. Absolutely true, Foley. That's the true story, and it's absolutely hilarious. So definitely want to check out Death of Stalin. I loved it. Number 22. This is the nitty gritty. This is the hard part, deciding who makes it and who doesn't. I'm gonna go with Hereditary. This is a film that my initial viewing, I would not have had it anywhere near this list. And what I mean is, this movie made me feel so very uncomfortable, and it really grinded at me, and it's kind of crazy to think that I'm it's in my top 25 now. It's, you give it that second viewing, you give it the respect of going I need to see it again. I need to see how things are. It's no, this movie was really, really good. Really inventive, very original. It sets an atmosphere that's so rare, and it's so hard to do atmosphere that good. Hereditary sets up this sense of dread that this car is going to be crashing, but you don't know when, where, and why. And then it just is yep, going to sit with you quite a while. And I'm not even sure if it was a while, but it felt like a while. And I could see that being a negative with some people. But this film's absolutely bonkers. Hereditary, check that one out if you're looking for a very creepy horror film. And know that it's not a body count film and that it's not a slasher. It's not that, okay, I'm going to go in and I know I'm going to be comfortable because I'm never going to be really scared. It might scare the fucking shit out of you. So, Hereditary, number 22. Number 23, a film that I know a lot of people have high toward their list, Avengers Infinity War. I thought this movie was pretty darn good. I mean, if I'm putting it into my top 25, I mean, I don't think there's any insult toward it. I know on IMDb, they would tell you like it was the top film of 2018 when you look at the scores. Actually, let me look. No, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has the highest IMDb out of all of them. And hell, Wouldn't You Be My Neighbor has the same score as Avengers. A lot of times on the IMDb, it's really tough to get those scores, though, because usually it takes like a few months or usually until like the home release, and then more people see it, and then the scores kind of naturalize and stuff and get to a more firm number. But now, Avengers Infinity War, I'm not a Marvel lover like most people. Most people, I don't know. I don't really know where the line is, the divide is, and everything. There seems like a lot of people I talk to are big-time Avengers fans. They like the superhero movies. They go and see them. They dig them. They enjoy them and everything. I don't have anything against superhero films. I love the Dark Knight films, but I know everybody's always like, yeah, you like crime drama. It's like, yeah. I don't know. There's something about CGI tight noodle arms that guys in tights with their wiggly, like the CGI wiggle arms, they kind of bother me sometimes. Like the natural move, the movements don't look natural. And I mean, obviously, because it's computer generated and it's never going to look right. CGI people has never looked right to me, and it never will, because it's always got that little bit of falseness towards what a human should look like moving that I've just never been able to get past. Like, I remember seeing Captain America, the first Avenger or whatever, and I just remember coming out of the movie theater, I'm like, yeah, that movie didn't look right. And I think my brother was like, what do you mean? And I said, like, Captain America, when he was moving, it just didn't look right. He's like, well, he's a superhero character. What are you talking about? So, clearly, some people aren't bothered by that stuff as much as I am. So, I'm going to have this film a little lower than other people are. But Avengers Infinity War, I thought it was a pretty interesting story. I didn't really know where it was going. It kept me on the edge of my seat. It surprised me. I saw it with a friend of mine, and we had a blast, but we had fun, and that's all it was. We just had this enjoyable time watching this film, seeing where these characters that for most of them have been around for almost 10 years now, or 10 years plus, depending on who it is. And it was a good movie. I thought it was interesting that they were willing to take some risks with this one, and more recently, Marvel's been getting better, in my opinion. So, Avengers Infinity War 23, I think that's a good spot. Number 24, I'm going to go with Incredibles 2. I thought this movie was really, really solid. I was a fan of the original, and I had some good fun with Incredibles 2. Is it the most original film ever? Not really. I've had people tell me, they're like, oh, Incredibles 2, it's, it follows a kind of simple story, and then you do kind of look at it, it's like, yeah, it's, the director had said, oh, it'd take like a very special script to get me back on board, and then you watch the movie, and it's like, it's not the most special script you ever read, but a damn good time, absolutely. Incredibles 2, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna really enjoy it, and I think it's one of those you could put it on with the whole family, and nobody's gonna have a problem with it. So that's kind of a cool thing that is not gonna bother anybody. But part of me part of me thinks that kind of attitude, like that film for everyone attitude, that is so suit mentality, that kind of I'm a corporate egg suit guy and I know everything. This is what everybody should like, and everybody should like exactly the same thing because it's what I can market and it's what I can sell you and it's how I can get toys, and maximizing profits is the only thing that matters to me. It's money isn't everything, and it's something that is, when you can come to that conclusion, I think you can kind of find yourself. And people who live with only money and greed in their hearts, I don't think will ever be happy. So I think you have to find who you are, what you like, what you want to do, and what matters to you. And I think that's what matters. And we're not all going to have the same conclusion on that. But I think as long as we can respect each other, I think that's what matters. And that's why I think the assembly line, every film should be like this, and the kind of less original films are less desirable to me. But that doesn't mean you guys have to not like them. And that doesn't mean that you guys don't see them as original and you don't like them and you don't feel amazingly about these films. That maybe I left off that you're like, oh, where's this? Where's that? And that movie's way too low on your list. It's just kind of how some of my decision making went. Originality is very important to me, especially as somebody who's currently working on, a short film and music and all these other things. I don't respect the unoriginal kind of thrown together films. And I'm not saying Incredibles 2 is that by any means. No, I'm just saying that, for me, something like The Favorite and Mandy and Suspiria, Annihilation, First Man, you were never really hear films that are told in a very their own way. They're not always going to sit perfectly with everybody, because some people do like watching a movie looking for the things they're expecting. They like the cliches. It's familiar territory. It's something that's comfortable. They know where it's going. But there's no potential with unoriginal cliched films, to me. You know exactly what you're getting, and there's no chance for anything great there. There's chance for it to do everything you like it to do, but it's never been enough for me. So, anyway, Incredibles 2, number 24. And then the final film of the 2018 draft is Bumblebee. Bumblebee made the list. I had fun with Bumblebee. I really enjoyed this one. I think it's the best Transformers movie. The opening sequence of this was really freaking cool. The journey of things was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed Haley Steinfeld as the lead. I thought she was really good. That's because she's a great actress, though. So I don't know that I can give it to this film. No, but all in all, it was really nice to see the director. IMDb to the rescue. I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible movie review guy. I don't respect you enough to look things up ahead of time. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Travis Knight. Travis Knight made Bumblebee. He was the director. Now, he also has done, for example, some of my favorite animated work. He worked with... He directed Kubo and the Two Strings, Paranorman. He's behind Box Trolls. He has a new one coming, Missing Link. These are all the Laika films, if you hadn't noticed by now. But he also did Coraline, another Laika film. But if you go all the way back here, and you look at some of his other work here, he had done animation on a whole heck of a lot of different stuff. 10 things here. Okay, the PJs, Gary and Mike, but really the main Laika dude. So that's kind of cool to see. Really, really nice to see him do a solid job with Transformers movie, which, I mean, the last so many years, I didn't know that an actually good Transformers movie was possible, but it is. And there's a lot of sequences in this film where you're looking at the detail of the Transformers, and you're kind of looking and they're going like, oh my god, that they look like the old 80s cartoon show. And yes, they designed them like the old 80s cartoon show. And I like the way the characters look so much more, the Transformers, than in the other Transformers movie. And the other ones are kind of these bulky, robotic things that they did a new kind of style thing with them. And it was cool, and I liked it, but I so like the 80s Transformers style. I really liked how they kind of have that like anime element into them. And I know some people are cringing at the fact that I called the original Transformers an anime, but it is. It's a Japanese animation from the 80s. I mean, just because you don't think Speed Racer counts doesn't mean it's not an anime. You know, it's not real anime. You don't understand. I watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm a real anime fan. all the anime fans who I just described all you guys. No, I'm joking. No. I have a bunch of animes, and I'm going to be doing Cowboy Bebop coming up here, so you guys should get excited for that. So, so anyway, top 25, I'm going to recap it real quick. You're also going to have an image on your computer screen or TV or phone or however you're viewing this. Maybe you're not viewing it. Maybe you're just listening to it. So be important for me to tell you. Mandy at number 1. Second overall in the 2018 the films of 2018 draft. We got Suspiria. Third, Annihilation. Fourth, First Man. Fifth, The Favorite. Sixth, You Were Never Really Here. Seventh, Won't You Be My Neighbor. Eighth, The Old Man and the Gun. Ninth, Leave No Trace. 10th, Black Klansman. At number 11, we have Isle of Dogs. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse at 12. A Star is Born at 13. 14, Green Book. 15, Roma. 16, Halloween. 17, Ready Player One. 18, Mission Impossible Fallout. 19, Bohemian Rhapsody. 20, Ballad of Buster Scruggs. 21, Death of Stalin. 22, Hereditary. 23, Avengers Infinity War. 24, Incredibles 2. And 25, Bumblebee. So those were my picks for my films I would like to watch first out of these, and my favorite kind of thing. This is obviously probably going to change over time because it's kind of how all of us are, our opinions change. But this is really crazy because I don't think I've ever felt that I don't know any other year where I could be like, there's 25 films I like. There's 25 films. But then again, I never really had tackled film as heavily as I did last year until now. So I plan to keep going at this, keep building this channel, keep getting it bigger and bigger. And, doing something like this I think is really cool, this little event thing, doing top films of 2018. I think it's something that's really cool to visit a lot of stuff we might have missed. Honestly, I highly suggest every film on this list. I really don't think you go wrong with any of them. I know we all have different biases and looks and beliefs and stuff, and some of that's going to play into how we feel about some of these films. So I can understand that somebody else's top 25 is not going to look exactly like mine. But my top 25 films that I saw were these. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys later. The only thing I want to say real quick, guys, before I leave, if you like this, it'd be great to get a like for that video. Yeah, give me a like. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Now you probably gave me a dislike, so shit. Subscribe would be great. I know we just had recently a little buzz happen and went up a little bit, so it's cool to see some new subscribers. So that's really cool. I also have another video detailing top films of 2018 coming. Now that is going to be the top 25 films of 2018, and that I'm going to be detailing probably a little bit of my process, but I took some like the like the top movie aggregated sites and kind of took the scores they gave these films, kind of averaged them together. I kind of put them through a formula and got out like their true score, the average score of those, and kind of trying to get how like people feel about these and where people have them rated. So that'll be a cool one to look at too. So guys, I'll catch you in the next video. I hope you like this, and I'll see you later, man.